The three terms associated with Jesus, namely way, truth, and life, have Christological significance and proclamation. It invites a person to take recourse to Jesus, who is the way to the Father and truth and the life. It also brings to the mind of human persons of their inability in their own accord to reach to the Father. Jesus as the Son and the mediator is a bridge to reach to the Father. In order to understand the words that are acclaimed in the Gospel passage, we need to go back to the book of Exodus, chapter 3, verses 3 till 14. We have a dialogue that takes place between Yahweh and Moses. Moses is urged by Yahweh to take the people out from slavery to the promised land. And Moses speaks about his own inability to do that. What will I tell the people? Who has sent me? And Yahweh says, I am who I am has sent you. These words are aptly mentioned in the Gospel of John, called as the I am statements. One of those statements which we have heard in today's Gospel passage. The I am that Jesus is referring to is his own divine nature, the way by which he will take each of us back to the Father. And for that, Jesus makes it very clear that he is the way, the truth, and the life. One can define Jesus as the way, truth, and the life in the context and the perspective given by John in his Gospel. In the first instance, Jesus is the way because he was with the Father, pre-existent with the Father. And we come across this notion in the same Gospel of John, chapter 1, verses 1 till 18, wherein Jesus speaks about his being with the Father. And then in chapter 3, verse 16 states, wherein Jesus has been sent by the Father, that we may have life in its fullness. Jesus as the way invites us to build our relationship and our intimacy with him, and thereby reach to the Father through Jesus, who is the way. Second, truth. Jesus is the truth which is very much embodied in the same Gospel of John, whereby Jesus speaks on behalf of his Father. Chapter 14 brings to our mind how Jesus says that he is the vine and you are the branches. The whole chapter and the following 15th chapter also highlights on the way by which he as a truth has come into the world, that he may dispel darkness around us. Luke very beautifully speaks about Jesus' presence with Pilate, and Pilate asking Jesus, what is the truth? And Jesus remains silent, perhaps thinking at that moment that he himself is an embodiment of truth. And lastly, life. Jesus' life has been broadly broadcast in the Gospel of John itself, wherein Jesus speaks to Mary that he is the resurrection and the life. No one goes to the Father except through him. In that context, we are invited in our daily life to make Jesus truly as the way, the truth, and the life. And how can we deepen this understanding, especially through the scriptures, through our personal relationship with Jesus, by taking recourse to the scriptures, to the celebration of the Eucharist and the other sacraments that invite us to seek Jesus as the way, the truth, and the life. As we take part in the Eucharist celebration, we pray for these graces for ourselves, that we may truly be imbued by the Spirit of Jesus, who is the way, the truth, and the life.